This is Chris, the Idaho Painter here on Paint Life TV. Today I'm going to show you how to properly roll a wall like a professional painter. I've got a wall right here. We're going to be repainting it gray for an undercoat for a metallic finish, and then in another room we're going to be doing a green, and this could be an undercoat for a Venetian plaster. And I'm going to show you the proper techniques to rolling the wall so you'll get walls that look like a professional painter that aren't streaky and blotchy. So stay tuned for this video. All right, Lucas is working on the cut-ins. He's cruising along really fast, and I want to get my wall rolled before my cut-ins dry. And because I want to work myself into a wet edge right here. Good practice to always keep a wet edge. It's the same as when you're rolling. You're going to be rolling into a wet edge. I'm going to start off from the end. We're going to be working on this wall from left to right. And I load up my roller. I'm going to show you what I just load up my roller. I'm going to place it right in the middle of the wall, and then I begin unloading it from top to bottom as I go. Just like that. I'm going to load it back up again. I usually do one pass and then load it up. So, see, I'm unloading it from top to bottom. This again. And here's another thing I'll show you. I just flipped over my roller. Now I've got it direction. When you're actually rolling, if I'm rolling this direction, I want to go the direction the roller is actually facing. As I'm creating pressure, it's pushing the roller onto the roller frame always. If I flip it over and roll this way, your roller could actually work itself off the frame if you don't have a good tight connection between the two. If you're using a really cheap roller frame, these high quality rollers frames we use, these Blue Tigers, it's never going to work itself off, so I don't have to worry about the direction that I'm facing. It's not as critical, but some professional painters think it's pretty important that you always roll in the same direction. I'm going to come over here. Now I've got a lot of paint on the wall. I'm going to begin my layout. So I'm just laying it out. I had it this way so I can get close to the wall. Otherwise, my frame would be hitting the wall, so I can get close to the wall, lay it out. I like to lay it out from top to bottom. Come as close as I can to the ceiling, lay it out from top to bottom. Lay it out from top to bottom. It's pretty important. This color right here, you probably would never see an issue with lap marks or streaks with this color and this paint. But if I was using like a vibrant red or something like that, that's where the laying out is very important. So unloading it from top to bottom. I'm listening for this downward roller. If I try to continue to go, this direction and continue to unload it, it'll start to hiss more and more. It'll start to make a louder sound. And I know now what we're doing is called dry napping. My roller is no longer putting out paint, but it'll actually start taking off paint. So I want to keep this thing loaded up all the time. And I hold my extension pole. I get it in my hands to a point where when I'm fully reached, I'm about that far from the ceiling. That way I know I'm not going to accidentally hit my ceiling. So I laid it out from there, and now I'm going to do my layout, continue working right along. Not too much pressure. If you put a lot of pressure at the top right here and then come down, it's going to leave a heavy spot at the top that's going to run. Same if you come down here, a lot of pressure right there, it's going to leave a heavy spot right there that's going to run too. So as I get to my ends, I'm going to put a lot less pressure. One of the things most do-it-yourselfers do, they have a tendency to not load the roller up enough. If you notice, every 9-inch pass, I'm basically loading up my roller, keeping it absolute sopping wet. There you have it, that wall is done. This is actually the undercoat for a metallic finish that we're going to be doing, a Boero metallic grit with a strié effect. It's going to look really cool. You can check out that video at the end of this video. There'll be a link to it if you want to see how we go about doing that. But I know you're going to see a lot of, out there do-it-yourself home improvement sites and stuff show you this whole V thing, which I kind of don't understand it a little bit myself. But hey, everybody's got their own techniques that work for them, rolling walls. This works very well for us, and once again, this next wall, it's going to be really critical that we do it and lay it out properly. So here we go, let's go to the next room. Lucas is doing the cut-ins, so always good practice, especially this. Now, if I was working by myself, if I did all these cut-ins, went out, had a sandwich, took a break, something like that, and it was dry and came back and rolled my walls, there is a high likelihood that I'm going to have what is called hat banding or haloing once again, and that's going to be a difference in color to your eye, to the human's eye, of where the cut-ins were versus where the wall was rolled. And some of that, can be attributed to if you do your cut-ins and you just brush your cut-ins and then you roll your walls. Where it's brushed, the paint is actually applied differently and it leaves brush strokes, and then you go back and you roll your wall, you're having stippling, and so you're going to see that difference, and it's going to be a color difference to your eye, and sometimes it's actually a texture difference. Same within the middle of this wall. If I roll this wall and I stop right in the middle of this wall, go off, take lunch, and it dries right here, and then I continue, more than likely I'm going to see a difference of a color difference where I started and where I stopped in a color like this. And if you get into really high-end paints are less likely to cause hat banding or haloing, but there are some really expensive paints that just do it anyways. So Lucas is he'll get his cut-ins done top and bottom, and then I'll start rolling. We're using, this is blue tape, this is blue frog tape. So we're less likely to get any bleeding underneath or onto our baseboards using blue frog tape. The frog tape actually has a polymer that swells when it gets wet or any liquid hits it, so nothing will bleed underneath it. Once again, I'm working out of a 9-inch pan, the 9-inch roller, because it's just one wall. There's multiple options, 18-inch rollers, inter-fed rollers, stuff like that, but just to do one wall, I don't need anything, big. And most of the time, when we typically, if you'll see in our videos, we're doing our cut-ins, we're brushing it, and then we're going back and back rolling it with a 4-inch roller. We're not doing that here because Venetian plaster is going to go right over the top of this, so we don't have to be so critical, but we're very particular about not leaving a brush stroke on our cut-in, because I can't get to the ceiling. If I get to the top, I'll be about this short from the ceiling without touching the ceiling, and that's going to be a brush stroke going that direction. That would look different than my roller being rolled up to the wall, and you'll probably notice it. This paint right here, this is going to be, because there's so much tint in this paint, another trick, load up my roller, begin unloading it. I don't want to roll too fast. If I roll too fast, I'm going to cause splatter coming off of my roller. So here we go. Here's the paint right here for anybody that's curious. Claire. So it's not sold at any box stores or anything. It's only sold online. So it was sent to me in the mail, and so I didn't pay for it. So it was sent to me to test out and see if I like it. And I just did a bathroom today in the color pink, and I gotta say, I didn't like that. It splattered really bad, and it didn't cover very well, which is kind of interesting because now this one is actually covering really well, and the pink did not cover well and splattered bad. Our tools, we sell like this. This is a Premier extension pole, if you're curious, with a blue Tiger roller. I think it's the best roller frame I've ever used. Really high quality. They're all sold on our store. And I'll show you, as I'm getting to the end, what I'm talking about. So if you load up your roller, put it in the middle, and then extend it all the way down and all the way up, It's gonna be heavy here, and it's gonna be really light down there. You could, continue working it out, but the technique I showed you, you're gonna more likely have even paint across your wall, less likelihood you're gonna have light spots. And that's looking pretty dang good. It's definitely, if this was not gonna be coated with Venetian, I can see some white speckles here. Definitely not a one coat paint. There really is no such thing as a one coat paint. So those paints that say paint, primer, and one coat, it's all kind of a bunch of nonsense. Just marketing ploys, to try to market to the do-it-yourselfer, so don't believe it. All right, there you have it, some tips and tricks how to roll a wall like a professional painter to get really good results. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully you got some tips or tricks. If you have tips or tricks you didn't hear in this video and you want to share them, leave them down in the comments section below. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram for more short tips, tricks, videos. Facebook is The Idaho Painter, Instagram is Idaho Painter. Don't forget, if you want to get notifications on these videos when we come out with them, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you don't hit the notification bell, it doesn't do anything when you subscribe, because you'll never get notified. Like when I'm done doing this metallic finish or Venetian plaster I end up doing on this wall, when I post it, you'll get notified and you won't miss it. So there you have it. Hope you've enjoyed the video. We'll see you on our next one. Out.